Hey friends, I hope you're having a lovely day, and I just want to connect with you guys and help to remind you to make space for peace in your life. And as cheesy as that sounds, I really mean it. I mean, it's okay if you need to check out a little bit right now, especially in light of things. If it's very stressful as you're watching this video or as I'm recording this video, it's, a couple days after January 6th, 2021, and living in America is a very interesting and scary thing, as it has been for some time, but there's a lot of change that's occurring and a lot of shadow work that's occurring within the country. And it's been interesting to observe and watch how people are actually showing up, it seems, more authentically, especially within the Senate and just around people, just within a community. I think people they're letting go of a need to try to polish things and make them seem better than they are. And so with that, I think a lot of us are experiencing just added stress, and it's totally normal. Some of us are able to kind of squelch it down and keep moving forward, especially for those of you that are highly sensitive people. If you're somebody who shows up every day for other people, but you also are very sensitive, it's interesting to find that balance, right? To find that balance of giving and finding space for yourself, okay? And so what I want to invite you to do right now is to give yourself permission, if you need to check out a little bit, to go ahead and check out, whatever that means to you, right? In the sense of do you need to stop being on social media for a while? Do you need to not really answer phone calls for a while? Do you need to create some days off in some shape or form if you're able to? Delegate tasks, and I'm not asking you to do this if you're already in a state where you're disconnected or you're feeling depressed, and where for you connection is actually going to help you. Listen to yourself, listen to what you need, okay? But if you're a leader and a super giver for lots of people, and so you're on a lot and it's hard for you to find time to be off, I just want you to invite you to, in some shape or form, if you need to check out so you can check in, okay? So the goal today is finding some space where you can check out to check in. And I want to give you three of my favorite ways to do that, okay? So number one, I love music very much. It's in my soul, and my past life was in this lifetime as a musician, and I stepped away from that path to follow healing. But I know that for me, music is incredibly healing, and I think it is for almost everybody. Just the idea of having healing frequencies. I think that the type of music affects you just like any food that you put into your body affects you. It's all energy. And I'm actually right now listening to one of my favorite little playlists that's it's actually on YouTube as well. And I'm going to look at the name of it because I forgot, but I know that the person's name that has it, the channel is called Woke Nation. And I don't know if this is their actual piece or not. I heard this piece over 10 years ago. I'm positive it's the same one. And it was somebody on YouTube, and they may have changed their name. It might have been the same person, but it was in my meditation list for the 10 years, and then it disappeared, and then I found it again, but it seemed like a different name. But this in particular is called, it's 528 hertz, so 528 HZ, okay? Energy cleanse for yourself and your home. And it's healing old negative energies from your house. And that's the same basic title it had. Now, this piece, I feel like this same musical piece is under a few different names, under this person's, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, it has beautiful scenery. It's like a video. When I'm on YouTube personally, I'm typically actually not really doing the video so much as audio, so I just kind of put it on my speaker and set it aside. But this is absolutely one of my very, 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 very favorite things to listen to. I think it's incredible. It's it works very quickly, and I think it would, in my mind, for anybody, I think it's incredible energy work. So if you just feel stuck, if you feel heavy, if you're really empathic and you're feeling anxious, if you tend to feel anxious before a big event happens in the world, I know I'm that way. I will start to internalize it for days until it comes. And the bigger the event, the longer that period is of anxiety for myself personally. And I don't know if you relate to this, but it took me many years to figure this out. Just like when you're empathic and you pick up emotions from other people and suddenly your energy shifts and you internalize it instead of realizing it's coming from outside of yourself, right? So it's important to have these boundaries, but sometimes when it happens on a collective level, like if you're just tapped into the collective consciousness that with that much awareness emotionally, when the thing happens that's disturbing, you can feel a sense of release and relaxation because you suddenly understand where your anxiety was coming from. It's just like when you feel really sick and you know you're sick and you go to the doctors and they're like, nothing's wrong with you, nothing's wrong with you, we don't know. And finally somebody gives you a diagnosis. Just getting that diagnosis alone, and I've seen this tons of times over the past like 15 years or so working with people one-to-one with like health stuff, is once you get the diagnosis, people are, now I'm not diagnosing them, they're coming to me and saying, my doctor said I have this, I feel so good knowing I have this diagnosis. There's peace when there's knowing, right? When you internally feel something and you know something and the external world isn't aligning up with it, it can be very confusing. It causes a lot of cognitive dissonance, right? So I would love for you, for my second thing, so number one, with finding this sense of peace and finding a way to check in, it's like checking out to check in, but really you're not really checking out, you're truly just checking in, you're giving yourself this permission to live and to love versus feeling like lost, or a sense of like lust for what you don't have, like the peace you don't have, right? The first thing again is this piece of music, because it's so quick and how quickly it's effortless. You just put it on and you can feel a change, right? That's to me magic. That's the way energy work works, is it can be effortless. Now, of course, it's an energy exchange, so it's a give and take between you and somebody else or the elements or something like that. But there's that. The second one is to take some time to part of this checking in is to actually check in. It's not just to be in this space of peace, which is super important, right? But it's actually to allow yourself to be there for a while and see what comes up, right? Because when we leave space for stillness and when we leave space for connection like that, it does come up. Our intuition comes up. Insights pop in from the universe, like those aha moments that we have been to experience at different times in our life, right? Those aha moments, yes, they can happen when we're really busy in life. The aha moments can happen when we're very busy and something crazy happens and it's kind of like a, whew, oh my God, Oftentimes in those situations, it can be a crazy thing, right? Not necessarily a good thing, but like something like, oh my gosh, like all of a sudden this happened and I figured it out, right? But what we're looking for is slower lessons right here as I'm talking about this, right? Checking in, it's a bit of a slower process. And when you try to check in, you can commonly have your head and your mind trying to tell you to not check in. This is very common for most of us. Some experience it feeling like it's anxiety. Some of us might experience it talking about it being like ADD. I'm not able to sit still. I feel whatever. Like we all have our different ways of identifying with how it expresses within ourselves, right? But I really want you, if you find that when you try to slow down that you're constantly trying to speed up, if you find that when you slow down you're feeling like, man, I'm not doing anything, or gosh, I should be doing this other thing, like just tell yourself, if you start feeling those guilty low emotions, like those lower emotions where you feel guilt or a sense of laziness or anything like that, one of my favorite things to talk to clients about is what if it's not being lazy? What if you're not really good at being lazy? I hear this a lot. I'm really good at being lazy. What if you're not good at being lazy? What if you're really good at resting? Okay? Because we do need to rest. You've got to rest. And so many of us will rest, but we're not actually resting. Because if your mind is telling you that you need to be doing something else, if your mind is telling you all this stuff while you're trying to rest, you are actually not, sorry, something just popped up. You are not able to fully rest because your mind is elsewhere. Because your mind is telling you that it's like not allowing you to rest emotionally. Okay, so with this permission of allowing yourself to go inwards, the second step. So first step is get some kind of sensory thing like this music. It doesn't have to be music. It could be a candle and some essential oils. It could be all of the above, some incense, but get something that's tactile that's going to get you into your senses so you're dropping more into your body and it's like a little bit of a shift, right? Just get a little bit of a shift. Then allow yourself to stay in that peace and stillness. That stillness doesn't mean you have to sit on the couch and be still. You can be. But the stillness, what I'm speaking of, is just having less commotion around you, right? So maybe it is taking time to meditate. Maybe you're working out and you're actually moving. Maybe you're just giving yourselves a few days off. Bless you if you're able to do that, to just be thinking about what you want, you know? And it can be on the weekend. If you work for yourself, I highly suggest you do it on the weekday as a part of your work week, because we have to plan things, and planning things are a part, like the planning is a part of the stability. It's a part of the, like, dancing with your muse. And usually we can plan when we're doing, like, we can, so this is an example of how to be in this presence, right? Do the thing that makes you feel at peace. If that means gardening, garden. If that means dancing, dance. If that means working out, work out. If that means laying in bed, lay in bed. If that means meditation, meditation. Just whatever it is that gets you into that kind of higher state of awareness a little bit, to some degree, to where you can let your mind wander. And when you get there, allowing yourself to do it. The reason that I would love for you to do something that's a bit more something like that you're passionate about is because when you're in the passionate thing, you're in the moment, and it's harder for your mind to check in, to get you to check in, check out, whatever. You see what I'm saying? So allow yourself that permission. And one easy trick with that is not just figuring out what the thing is that you want to do, right? Because you might not do anything. You might just want to lay on the couch with a warm blanket and drink a cup of tea and stare out the window, which I think is completely legitimate, right? But I do suggest, if you do that, to have something like music, or even your cat, if your cat's there, and or an animal like you're connecting with, or some good smells, something to keep you in your body, right? Because it's normal for us to just pop into our heads, and then we're just like everywhere else instead of here. Just remind yourself that you're allowed to rest, and keep telling yourself that until you believe it, okay? And I'm saying this like as a person, I know, even like I do this work, and I've been doing this work and suggesting self-care and all this stuff, like literally for over 10 years, right? And because I know how important it is, just like you know how important it is, right? But I grew up in an environment where everything was go, 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 and kind of based on like how much you've done and all this stuff. And I remember my mom coming home from work and like making her hot baths and being like, just relax if you can, because she was working so hard as a single mom. And so as a kid, I grew up around people who were constantly moving because they had to work that hard. And also, we were living in a time of kind of this toxic culture of like, you are how much you do, which is not really true. This is not how energy works. Burning out is not success, right? It's not really even lucrative. So, and money isn't success, right? The thing is like peace, ultimately peace and getting to know yourself is success, because you're able to live the life you want when you know yourself. And the only way you can know yourself is if you allow yourself to slow down enough to check in and be at peace with yourself. And it can be a struggle, right? It can be a struggle. So that's why you need to just say to yourself over and over again, because you're reprogramming yourself most of the time. Now, not everybody has this issue. Some people are really good at rest, and that's awesome. If you are not good at rest, it's quite possible if you're in a relationship, a loving relationship, that person is very good at rest. Not all the time, but if it's a really good balance, this is what I find. And we're all teachers for each other, right? So I have been in relationships where I see my partner can sit and read and smoke a pipe and just chill out. And I'm like, you are so good at resting. Like, I want to be able to do that. Like, I want to be able to sit there and just relax and enjoy life, right? So, sorry, I just keep getting these little pop-ups. So anyway, allow yourself to do that. And even if you need to think of somebody who you know that is like an idol for you about resting, it could be an animal, it can be a place, whatever it is, find a symbol to you that is restful, okay? So find some music or something that's gonna bring you into your body. Go inward and actually allow yourself to go inward by reminding yourself that you're allowed to go inward. And just keep saying it until you believe it, because eventually you'll rest and that stuff's gonna come up. And the next day you might try again and it might be challenging, but you just go through that same process again, okay? So I just really want to encourage you to just allow yourself to keep practicing it, because the more you practice it, the more it becomes second nature. And eventually you're gonna be super balanced. You're gonna be in a space of like welcoming a way more peace. And then maybe one season you'll kind of go the other direction, but that's okay, because we're always learning. And then you'll go back and find that space again, okay? But I want to invite you just so strongly to invite you to get grounded and to go inward if you need to go inward, because when we do that, we can shine brighter, we can be a better part of like the community, because we can actually give what we have and keep what we need to keep. And that's like positive energy exchange. So that's what I want to leave you with today. Just really want to welcome you to be in a space of peace and self-love and self-care, and sending you so much love. Bye-bye.